Hello and welcome to a Harmony Inspired Life podcast. My name is Harmony and I am your podcast host. I am an Ayurveda and integrative health consultant, registered nurse, yoga teacher, Pilates instructor, business owner and twin mum. This is a healthy lifestyle and personal development podcast where we will be discussing all things health, wellness, Ayurveda, modern medicine, spirituality, and personal development. My mission is to bridge the gap between modern science and natural health so that we can create perfect health, healing, and harmony within our mind and bodies, and start to have those conversations that will bring each modality together to offer a holistic and complementary health and wellness platform where you will be informed and inspired to trust in your own body's intelligence. I will be speaking with leaders in the industry, as well as combining my Western medical background and modern science with Ayurveda and my yogi spirit to inspire you to live a more simple, healthy, and balanced life. If you would like to connect with me in the social world, you can find me on Facebook at Harmony Inspired Health or on Instagram at Harmony Inspired Yoga Ayurveda. Or head straight to my website where you can find out about all of my retreats and events at www.harmonyinspiredhealth.com.au. Hello everybody and welcome back to the podcast. On today's episode, we are talking specifically to the mums and how the hell do we juggle it all and look after our own health. I believe we live in a very interesting time. We women have more rights than ever, we have more freedom than ever, but with that has come more responsibilities and more hats to wear, more organisation and coordination of our many roles as the mother, wife, friend, daughter, sister, business owner, worker, or stay-at-home mum. So how the hell do we juggle it all and still look after our own health? Today on the show, I have Chantal Gerardy. Did I pronounce that right?
Gerardy.
Gerardy. I knew it was a South African name, so I was like, oh, hang a minute, I should have asked about that. But anyway, she is a ball of energy and so much fun. We've actually just been having a really great conversation before we jumped on the podcast. And we have a lot of similarities we worked out. We're both twin mamas, but she's also a mama of 3 teenage girls now.
Yep.
Yeah, teenage girls. And a 2019 Australia Mumpreneur Award finalist for her Facebook marketing coaching business. Chantal also has 20 years experience in the health, wellness and fitness industry. And she has joined us today to give us her best tips on how to juggle motherhood, running a family and running a successful business while looking after our own health and well-being. So welcome to the show, Chantal.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'm really excited to get into this one. Like I said, she's got lots of high energy and amazing information to hand out to us all. And I'm sure we are all get to that stage where we feel a little overwhelmed and under the pressure. And yeah, it's just really nice to have some tips that we can go to, some tools to help us get our head into the game or out of the game, whatever way you want to look at it, I suppose. But we always start with the rapid inspiration questions. So they're just rapid fire questions. So the first one is, can you inspire us with what your superpower is?
My superpower is activating people. So I'm an activator. I have this wonderful gift to be able to motivate, inspire, and get people off their bums and get them doing something.
Yeah, awesome. You can even hear that in your voice. So like I said, you've got that really nice projecting voice. Love it. And your favorite quote or mantra?
This one was actually given to me by somebody who said I really needed it. And I think we all need it. So it is, I am enough.
Beautiful. I love that. Definitely. And who or what is inspiring you at the moment?
This was a difficult one because I'm going to say me.
Yeah. No, good on you.
Because I was, I kept rereading the question and thinking, how's it going to sound by saying me? But realistically, I don't struggle too much with self-motivation. I just have this ability to constantly be able to motivate and inspire myself and self-correct. So when I see stuff happening, I just re-educate myself and I make the changes along the way. So, I'm constantly looking at myself and reflecting and going, what can I do differently? What can I do better? Yeah. It sounded a bit weird saying that, but I feel like right now I'm inspiring myself by just every day just trying to make better decisions with what it is that I'm doing.
No, I love that. I think we certainly have to inspire ourselves. Like it's, we do draw inspiration from people around us, but it's our responsibility to find that inspiration within ourselves so that we can succeed. And I believe that's probably why you are so successful. And what does an inspired life look or feel like to you?
I think this is it's a balanced life where you get to work and play and do everything that makes you happy. So, we're living a fulfilling life where at the end of the day you go to bed happy. For me, that was always an important thing for me, was that every day I want to be able to go to sleep happy, knowing that I've done the best that I could do that day, and just feel like that is enough.
100%. Totally is. And so I think this leads on to that big question that, like, as women, can we have it all? Like, I think we can certainly do it all. And so, like you were saying, going to bed and knowing that you've done it all and you're happy. And so, often we mark off our to-do list and feel really successful in that way. But can we do it whilst being present within ourselves and fulfilling all of our roles and still stay sane, happy and healthy?
I think it definitely takes a bit of insight into yourself. It takes a bit of self-awareness. It's not just something where if you rush through the rose bush the whole day, you're not going to get to smell those roses. So by the end of the day, it's 100%. It's about being present and being self-aware and going, what can we do today to be different? For me, I personally believe it does take planning. It takes some quiet time, either the night before or in the morning, to go, what can I do today? What am I wanting to achieve? And what can I do to get there? And it's not about putting pressure on yourself. It's just about looking at a new way of doing things and also making it achievable. Sometimes we set these unachievable, ginormous, the big word at the moment, hairy, audacious goals. But it does.
That is a big word.
It is hairy, audacious goals. It
Wow.
seems to be the big thing for 2020 at the moment. And I'm like, no, it shouldn't be hairy. Doesn't have to be. Let's have it nice, clean and smooth.
And achievable.
And achievable, 100%, because also it is going to be too overwhelming. And we've got so much going on as it is. We don't need to put that kind of pressure on ourselves. It's just that one small other thing that you can do today. And it all starts with setting the intention. You have to set the intention. What is it that we want? And what is the little thing that we can do to help us get closer to that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I actually have a practice in the morning. So, I do tell my clients, if it's for them, that to sit down and journal in the morning, but not get in there and write a novel and a whole page, but just start with a nice gratitude practice, listing even just one thing that you were grateful for today, whatever the first thing is that comes to mind. And then the second thing is what you intend to do or what you can work on today. And just go with that flow. So they've got what they're grateful for and their focus, so that they don't become so overwhelmed with not having, like you said, an intention even put down on paper or just an intention for the day.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And a lot of that has to do with just the fact that you have to stop.
Yeah.
You've just got to stop and just cut everything else that's around you and just stop the madness around you. Stop, breathe. Just be more mindful, and then just stop and start to think a little bit more, just so we don't get caught in the roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we were, like I said, we were having a really great conversation before we started the podcast, and you were telling me about your journey through all of the fitness and through your career now. So if you could just share with us a little bit about your background and how that you have managed to juggle it all, so that our listeners can just hear from your perspective when you were speaking on this subject.
Yeah, sure, 100%. So I was actually overweight up until into my 20s. I was always the fat kid at school, and I was called Fatty Boom Boom, and I was bullied. Oh. And in fact, I still remember not being able to get onto a small private plane because they weighed you before you went on. And I was the kid that was like, 70 kgs, and I think I was 12 at the time. And they said, you can't get on the plane. We can only take a certain weight. Oh. And it was because of, and my mom's not listening, so I can tell her because she's probably not listening to podcasts now. But she doesn't like the story. But, through no fault of her own, it was lack of education. Yeah. Lack of education into what to eat. And she was always skinny her whole life. So she could eat condensed milk out of a tin. She could eat biltong fat. She could eat cordial. And it didn't make any difference to her because she was skinny. She didn't have to worry about her weight as such. It wasn't about health for her. And then what happened was when I got into my 20s, I fell into, I started losing weight, and when people noticed, I suddenly realized I didn't have to be the fat kid. I could actually do something about it. And I also had the doctor say to me that I would have to go into cholesterol and diabetes and blood pressure medication at the age of 20, which my whole family went on to. And I just went, I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to be taking medication every day. What can I do? What can I do differently? So I educated myself. And I just started trying different things, and I actually got into aquarobics first.
Yeah, right.
And then from there, when they asked me to be a teacher, and when you teach aquarobics, you're actually outside the pool, so you had to get like land fit to actually instruct on the outside of the pool. Yeah. And with that, then my weight plateaued again, and I realized, well, I've got to understand group fitness, and then I went into personal training, and then I explored different ways to eat. But I did all the wrong things as well, and I got obsessed with it because when I lost weight and I started feeling good, I thought, well, this is great. And I experimented with diet pills, and I started doing, excessive, dieting, and I lost heaps of weight and got really sick as well, and messed up my metabolic rate. And then I thought, no, I don't like the gym. I got bored of that. So I went into triathlon, and I went, okay, I'll just do 13 hours of training a week, and I'll do triathlon. So I realized with all of that there's no balance. Yeah. There's no balance at all. And what really hit me in the face was when I fell pregnant with twins, because when you're pregnant with twins, you can't train 13 hours a week. No. You can't take diet pills, and you can't train excessively. And you've got to watch your weight and watch your health. Yeah. And that is when I think I really started to understand, and I was about 28 then, really understand that, hold on a sec, there's all this stuff that's around. What can we do? What's the perfect balance? How can I be a mum of these twins and still work and still train and still be able to eat and still be able to go out to movies without taking your own pre-cooked food? Where's the balance? There has to be balance somewhere. And I just started being kind to myself. And I think that for me is when everything sort of flipped on its head. And that's when I started to teach, talk more to people about eating to lose weight, more just saying, not focusing on all the things you can't eat, but focusing on all the things you can eat.
I love that you brought that up, being kind to yourself, because I think a lot of us have probably gone through that similar thing. Like you get sort of like obsessive with the exercise and the dieting, and you want the perfect body. And I suppose this was probably even before like all the Instagram and social media, was it?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's still always sort of been, a part of exploring the fitness world. And I think the fitness world serves such a great purpose, and so grateful for it. But there is a lot of, I don't want to say negative, but a lot of...
There's extremes in everything. There are extremes in everything.
And it's then becomes not beneficial for your health. Yeah. And like I teach in Ayurveda, is that we are all made up of a unique individual constitution. So we all have different mind-body types. And if you are naturally a Kapha person, like if your constitution is more a Kapha person, which is slightly, bigger boned, and they've got more of a healthier glow, but they're great athletes and they're great endurance athletes, but they're never ever going to get themselves as thin as a Vata person or a really fine thin person. And it's being able to understand your body type, working with it and accepting it. And then you've got the Pittas who are quite muscular, quite athletic in between. But we are a blend of all of them. We obviously have more of some of those elements than the other doshas, but it's just being more accepting and kind to ourselves and realizing what our body, where it's healthiest at. Might not be your image or where it looks its best, but it's where it's hormones are balanced, healthy mind, healthy body, and you've got energy and vitality. And so I love how, you said just being kind to yourself and allowing that to happen.
Yeah. And, we had different stages of our life, like we spoke about earlier, I did triathlons, and then from there it's falling pregnant with twins. So when you're pregnant, your health and fitness changes again.
Yeah.
So I think it all boils down to education. And I think if people have education, then in different stages of their life they can change. As I was talking to you about now, about this year, I've had some health issues, and again, I've had to readjust everything. Yeah. So it's about educating you on health and fitness, and then doing what's right for you at certain stages in your life.
Absolutely. Or we all go through the cycles of life, and that's a really important message, I think. And so once you've had the twins, I'm sure another cycle of life, that would have been a real big shock and busy. And you can't just get out of the house and train and do everything. And you can't even do, you can do the meal prep, but it's, it was almost like a production, because I had the twins too, and it's like a production line. You're just thinking, when's their next feed?
Yeah,
and
meal prep for the twins.
Meal prep for the twins. It was it's just constant. And so it is especially if you're a bit like us who do really want to look after your own health and make sure you're eating right, and you're still worrying about trying to, fit into your clothes, I guess, and you're getting so busy, what tips do you have on how to balance that in our lives?
Sure.
Yeah.
So many.
Where to start. Yeah.
The first thing I think is about planning. So, just planning what it is that you're doing the next day, or even for the week. I like to do it a week ahead, and then planning in your diary and putting it in, because if it's not scheduled in, you're not going to do it. Okay. Yeah. And you have to schedule time to eat. One of the most important things is, just like kids have got to eat, we've got to eat as well. Yeah. We have to look after ourselves. So scheduling in that time for yourself to eat as well, and allowing enough time, not just giving yourself 5 minutes of eating in the car, because your body's not actually prepared for food then. So you're actually not going to absorb the nutrients from the food like you should. And it's not setting good habits for the kids either.
That's right.
So I like to do mine a week ahead, setting time in your diary to eat, setting time on where the gaps are to then put in the exercise, and then actually scheduling it in, because if it's not scheduled in, you're not going to do it. One of the things I like to do is online shopping delivered to the house, because we don't impulse buy. We actually buy what we need. So working out what is it that you need to eat that week, working out the types of recipes that you want to make, trying new things, and getting excited about your food. Like I said, focus on the things that you can eat, not the things that you can't eat.
Yeah.
And then just literally go in and do the online shop, because kids hate the shopping centres anyway, so don't take them. And we've saved about $100 a week by changing to online shopping. So, and then you order exactly what it is that you need for the week. So that's my other one. And just keeping crap out the house. If you don't have crap in the house, you can't eat it. So.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not there, you don't eat it.
You don't eat it. It's as simple as that. But for me, when it comes to the exercising side of it, as I said, you've got to schedule it in. For me, there's always 3 things to kind of think about, and 3 types of fitness things that you've got to put into your week. And the one is obviously focusing on your flexibility, which is obviously your breathing, your yoga, your Pilates, and that type of stuff, meditation and that. Then the other side of it is you've got to put in your strength, because you've got to be strong enough. So allocating time in your week to do strength-based exercises. And the last one then is obviously your cardio. So doing it, and again, being kind to yourself. It doesn't have to be excessive or crazy. The world is absolutely amazing. There's so many apps and things that you can go and get now, where there's workouts online and that.
Yeah.
But do some research and listen to your body, and if your body doesn't like it, or if it's not agreeing with your body, don't do it. Because it's talking to you. So
absolutely.
But just schedule it in. You can swim, you can cycle, you can walk, you can run. One of my favorite things that I used to do with the twins was when they would sleep in the pram, I used to do hill repeats with them. Just find a nice hill and go up and down it 5 times with the kids in the pram. It's great for your legs and arms. It's like pushing a sled or a tire.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you can't get out, you can have like you said, don't need to do an excess. So put a 15-minute timer on your clock, on your watch, and just do 15 minutes of exercises at home. So there's heaps of exercises that you can follow online, like you said, apps and everything like that. So I guess, fitting in, and it's not, and that's not about weight loss so much. Like we're not even looking at it from that point of view. We're looking at it from longevity and health. So exercise is essential for longevity and health. So we do need to find ways to schedule it in. But obviously if you've had your first baby and you've just had the babies, like don't go crazy and think you got to get straight back into it. We're talking about a bit later when they're a bit older.
Yeah,
as well.
It does depend on the person. I know that after my Caesars with my twins, I started to get a bit of post-mortem depression, and they said to me to start exercising because that's the way that that's my outlet, that's ideal. So again, it's identifying, well, if this is how I'm feeling, this is what I need. But it's the same thing as if you're feeling really tired, you might also need to exercise because exercise actually gives you energy. Yeah. So sometimes we've got to kind of listen to our body, but we also have to try and understand what's going on.
That's it. I think that is the nice thing about when you get into exercise is that you really start to cultivate that mind-body awareness. So you start to learn about your body and learn how it feels and what it needs. Like you said, like, am I tired because I've just been too grounded, too lethargic? And again, that's bringing in, we need more element of the up and go, like get up and get out there. Or am I tired because I have been running around and I'm like exhausting myself? And I think it's a really nice thing that the mindfulness, any sort of exercise, yoga, Pilates, breath work, or even like in the gym, it really starts to it makes you more aware of how your body works and how you think, I believe. So
yeah. One of the other things, I remember when I moved here and everyone said join a play group and go to the play groups, and I really didn't like the play groups because I was sitting in an environment where everyone's eating cookies and cakes and snacks and talking about the kids and how their relationships were, and I just went, I can't do this. So for me, I actually hijacked a few of the ladies and said, can't we just rather go and sit at the park? And then I said, let's meet at my house. And they arrived at my house and I said, no, we're actually walking to the park from my house. And then whilst the kids were playing in the playground, we were lifting them up into the air, putting them down and doing push-ups with the kids and squats with the kids. Or when they were playing, we were doing our own little exercises. And we just started doing that, like twice a week. And the thing is that the kids enjoyed it. It was a great role model for them. You're outside. You've now got motivation and accountability from the other people doing it with you. Because that's the other thing. If you're really struggling in motivation, join something. Get an accountability buddy.
Absolutely. We did that too, like me and my group of friends. Like I did try to go to a couple of play groups and I just couldn't stand it. Like I'm not that, sit around and talk about what mushed food you're making for your baby and all that kind of stuff. It just didn't interest me. So, but me and my friends, we all joined a boot camp, which I later taught in. So it's actually Get Raw boot camps on the Gold Coast that Simone runs it, so we used to go there, and it was great because all the kids got together and then we would have like social after, and same thing, you'd walk them like up the hill in Burleigh, and the kids, some of them are still friends to this day, so it's it was so nice, like they really had that nice bond through it too. I love that. And so I guess we've at the moment, though, we are in the middle of school holidays as we're recording this episode anyway. And so it can be like when you have older kids that don't want to go to the creche or whatever, can be a little bit hard to juggle. Especially I've got to take mine to creche when I teach, so I don't like to take them there when I exercise. But it's really nice to be able to, when you do have the older kids, to take them out of the house and be active with them. So what kind of tips do you have for being active and scheduling in sort of your work, your play, and your exercise with the family?
Sure. Look, this might sound a bit weird, but we use a whiteboard system when it comes to the school holidays. So on the whiteboard, we write all the have to do. So if there's anything that you have to do, like work, appointments, or anything like that, you put it in. And that way the kids can have a look at it and they can plan their play dates around when it is what they can do as well. So for example, if I've got to work in the morning, well then we'll do stuff in the afternoon. So everybody can visually see, well, who needs to do what, and we just find it an easy way to sort of manage the household. One of the other things we've done as well is we've done a day swap. So if you want to have a full day at work, well, I'll watch all your children for a day. So I've got all the kids for a whole day, and I'll just focus on the kids, and you work, and tomorrow we'll swap it. And I did that. Actually, I had 3 friends who did that, which means I only really had the kids for 2 days of the week. Like 3 days I didn't actually have to work. So that really helped with that. One of the other things that I do that's fantastic for exercise is if your kids are on bicycles, jogging next to them is amazing, especially because they're like going all over the road and you're like trying to speed up and slow down. And
it's interval training.
It's really interval training without even trying. So rather than being on a bicycle while they're on a bicycle, actually just jogging next to them, which is pretty cool. You could set up little obstacle courses. We've done that on rainy days. If there's been a whole bunch of rainy days, we've set up little obstacle courses inside the garage and then done it and maybe even created into a little time trial or and a point system. And we've also done things like where each person gets to choose an exercise, one that they hate and one that they love. They put it on the board and then we just dice numbers and put the numbers next to it as well. So and that way the kids have been included
and it's
in
a
the
bit
exercise.
of fun. It's like a game to them, but we're like it's a game to them and we're like, ooh, we're getting some exercise too. And I suppose like the other thing on the school holidays when you are in the house or if you do work from home. So I actually see a lot of female entrepreneurs in my Ayurvedic and integrative health clinic, and a lot of them say the same thing. Working from home, it can be really hard not to snack all day. And so in Ayurveda, like we suggest that you don't snack all through the day because you want your body to be able to digest the food properly before it has its next meal. So when I tell them, like, give them some tips about healthy lifestyle eating and that through the Ayurvedic lens, they say, oh, it's just so hard. I work from home and the kitchen's there and I'm always, like, sort of even procrastinating. And, I mean, I've done this too. But like, go to the cupboard and see what's there and have a snack. And then you don't even realise how those tiny little snacks add up to basically a whole meal or two after you've had your breakfast, lunch and dinner, like if you're looking at it as a whole day of eating. So do you have any tips, because you work from home, correct? Yeah, awesome. So do you have any tips for our mums out there who do work from home or are stay-at-home mums or in the school holidays, how to keep themselves out of the pantry or just eat well in the holidays?
I think the first thing is about education. So firstly, what do you need to be eating? So if you knew what you needed to be eating and make sure that that's in the house, that's firstly going to help you. The second thing, again, is just planning what you're actually going to eat in that day, and plan as if you were going to work. Because if you went to work, you'd have to take a lunchbox. So if you went into the kitchen at the start of the day, and just like you pack all the kids' lunchboxes for the day, you pack your food for the day into a cooler, and then you have it next to your desk and it's all ready to go. And the other thing is, if you've gone and planned what it is, when you're actually going to eat in the day, and if you set a timer, you actually then get away from the table, go and sit somewhere away from your desk, and have that away time where you can actually enjoy your meals. So that way you're making sure that you're eating on time, you're eating the right foods, and you're acting like you're not at home, really. But keeping crap out of the house definitely helps. Having a plan, having a timer. There is actually another app which is called Toggle Your Time. And Toggle Your Time, you can actually time all the amounts of, like every time you went to the fridge, you could time how long you were at the fridge for. And you could just call it fridge and you could do it. So, being aware of it's really important. So the other thing would be a food diary. But I'm not a big fan of food diaries. I always say to a food planner is better than a food diary. So rather planning what you need to eat and when, and then ticking and rewarding yourself as well. So tick, tick, done it, tick, tick, done it, tick, tick, done it. Give yourself some gratitude, and even reward yourself, with a small block of chocolate or that, little glass of wine or whatever at the end of the day. So
yeah, the food planning is great, because whenever I've asked people, like generally before they've come in to see me, can you do like a food diary just so I can look at it? They never come in with a food diary. Like no one sort of maybe wants to be bothered, but also I think wants to wake up to the realization of what they're actually putting in their gob. It is so confronting, and I have done it, and it's like, whoa, like I'm so not going to write that choc chip cookie on there. But then it's like you're only cheating yourself, and then if you actually do it, you're like, Oh, I always tell myself, like, yeah, I don't snack. I'm really sticking to my Ayurvedic lifestyle. And if I actually started writing it down, I'd be like, well, not today, I didn't. So, yeah, I think it is good to do as a once-off, just to, like you said, for self-awareness, because it always has to start with self-awareness and being really, really honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And especially, like, if you do have... but also not beating yourself up. Like, it's not about that at all. No. Because we don't want to make ourselves feel like we're doing anything wrong. But if our goal and our intention is longevity and health, and we want to be serving that through eating the best we can, then I think building that awareness by maybe even doing a day of journaling just to see how you are, and then do the planning from then on in, because like you said, the planning, it really is magic. Then you can say, well, and even for your shopping list, and so you know exactly what you need in the house, what food products you're going to use that week, and also sustainability wise, like if you think about it, there's going to be less waste and everything. Well, 100%. Can I put you on the spot here and ask what your food sort of plan is? What you when you go to work?
Sure. Sure. So let's go with we'll go with today. So this morning I started with a feta, avo, and egg with basil, tomatoes, and red onion. So kind of like a bruschetta without the bread, kind of mixed together. I've had a smoothie, so just a natural collagen powder, protein powder with, I've had soy milk. So because I am getting into perimenopause, I have to have soy milk. Yeah. So with fruit, I've made my own menopause snack bars. Again, I've just researched what nutrients I need to be having while I'm, to try and slow down the process or embrace the process. Yeah. So I've just put all those ingredients together in little protein bars rather than buy them. I'm just making my own natural ones.
And you know exactly what goes in them then.
Yeah, 100%. And then from there, I think I've got salmon on zucchini noodles with pine nuts for lunch. And then for dinner, I think we're having chicken skewers with vegetables. So, I'm not a vegetarian or vegan, as you can hear. However, I do like the idea that vegetarians and vegans have a lot more nutrients than what people eat, mainstream people eat. So I'm from South Africa. They're meat and potatoes people.
Yeah. So. But it's good to pack, like, if you eat meat, that's fine, just as long as you're consuming a lot of vegetables as well. And it's also really good to eat seasonally as well. So starting to be aware of what fruit and vegetables come out in the seasons, because our microbiome in our gut is actually designed to change with the seasons. But, however, we have things like the fruits and vegetables just open to us, free fall, throughout the whole year because we import them. And so it has affected, I think, as a whole, like as a nation, our gut microbiome. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot more gut issues.
Yep. A lot more people getting sick,
for sure. Because we're just not eating how we are supposed to, or how our ancestors, everything's just been given to us on a golden platter, and we can just choose what we like as opposed to eating with nature. So,
and it's also cheaper too, because if it's not imported, it actually works out cheaper, and also it hasn't been stored, so it hasn't lost all its nutrients. So
that's it.
One of the things I do as well, going back to what we said earlier, is about that relationship with food, is I like to talk to my food.
Yeah.
So for example, if I go away,
hey, salmon.
what are you going to do for me today?
Yeah, you're looking good.
But like when I went away to Pepper's and I was there for 3 days, and we had this massive buffet breakfast, and they had all these pastries, and they had all the eggs, but the pastries and the cereals and the everything, and on day one I was like, pancakes. What are you going to do to me? Do I really need you? And I'd have that conversation. And the first day, the pancakes said, yes, you deserve me. You're on holiday.
Nourish that soul.
And I had it. Yeah. And the next day I went in and I went, pastries, what are you going to do to me today? And my body went, remember how you felt after pancakes yesterday? Yeah. Maybe today, you're going to need some more nutrients, a little bit more water. Yeah. Maybe we're going to try and... So I actually talk to my food, and it's a standing joke.
I love that though. That's great.
But I look at it from a nutrient perspective and go, if you educate yourself on what's the purpose of that food, not just say to kids, eat your greens.
Yes.
No, just say eat your greens, or say to them, these greens are going to give you fiber. They, going to prevent you from having disease. They got, so little calories, but so many nutrients.
The
why don't you just try them?
Reinforcement.
As opposed to just eat them.
Yeah.
Because then vegetables become a dirty word.
It's been proven, even well, you're the marketing guru, but I was going to say, with marketing that kind of stuff, and even in the day-to-day talking, like you're saying with your kids, is to outline the benefits. Is people are going to more likely follow through and do that than saying, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do this. Everyone's like, don't, and it's, some of us like to rebel. So,
we just go, well,
so what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point?
But if you can, and I think the take-home message, which you've constantly brought up, is educating yourself. So educate on what it can do for you and the health benefits, and get really excited about that side of things, and then you will start to naturally want to do those things or eat those foods. That'll just become part of you and your lifestyle.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things we've done is turmeric. Turmeric is so expensive, and it's a great anti-inflammatory food. So we just went, well, we're going to grow our own plants. So that was just one thing that we did.
Oh, amazing.
And we went and researched it. We went and found organic bulbs, went and bought the bulbs, planted the bulbs, and now we're growing our own, and we've got turmeric throughout the year. And now ginger, we're trying with ginger as well. It hasn't been as good this year, but we are trying. But just starting with that one little thing, know.
That's amazing. That's so good that we did that. When Woolworths was giving away those little fruit and veg things. Well,
that was a great marketing ploy by them. Absolutely fantastic.
So good. I think after all the plastic crap they gave out, people were on.
Great.
It was. They changed.
It's a great comeback from that.
It was. Yeah, it really was. And we got some radishes out of it, and some. Was it kale or silver beet? The boys, my twins, were stoked, and and actually my husband was probably even more excited. But it was really good. So that's another great tip, just making your own little veggie or herb garden. Yeah. And I love how we spoke before the podcast, and you don't know a lot about Ayurveda is not a thing that you've looked into a lot, but so much of the stuff you're saying is so relatability. It's just that innate understanding, even when you're explaining bringing in different elements. So if you want to, if you're, you were saying with the exercise, if you're feeling lethargic, bring in a little bit more fire and a bit more heat, get exercising. And it's the same with the food thing and everything. So it's been really interesting from my perspective from this conversation as well. But could you give us, and as in myself, but also our listeners, a little take home today on how to juggle it all, how to have a happy family, successful business, be a healthy mama, and what we've covered a lot of ground here: the exercising, doing it in increments, the food, talked about growing a little garden, how to exercise with the kids, the school holidays, not to snack in the work time, bringing work to lunch. But what would your top 3 tips or tools be that every mum should write down now and stick on their fridge? So if you're driving, obviously you can't do this, but you can listen back. But the top 3 where, you can, I love that inspired action where people can actually take some take homes and implement it today or tomorrow. Write it down, stick it on your fridge. Top 3. What do you got for us?
Well, number 1 is I really think that you should look after yourself first. I think that is huge. I think there's a lot of mums out there who, especially in this day and age, we feel so guilty. Mm-hmm. So we feel so guilty, and we just don't look after ourselves as well as we do. And, when the airplane's going down, they say put the oxygen mask on yourself first. So look after your own health, look after your own eating, look after your own relationships with your partners. I think for me that would be number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 is empower yourself and ask for help. Like, if you really are stuck or you really are struggling, don't accept that, because everything is possible.
Yeah.
There's, honestly, nowadays there's so much research out there, and if something doesn't resonate with you, don't fight it. It's obviously not right, so trust your instincts. But empower yourself with whatever it is that you're struggling with, and educate yourself on that, and just become in tune with your body, and what it is that it's needing. My third one is watch who you surround yourselves with. Because, I always used to say to people, if you're trying to lose weight, don't go hang out with a person who's at McDonald's every single day. And that's a simple truth. So sometimes we could be self-sabotaging by having influences around us that are actually sabotaging our success. So for me, it would be looking at those that are around us, looking at your family. They're not chosen, so just have a look at your family, have a look at your chosen friends and those that are around you, and decide what type of life it is that you are wanting to have, and consider what it is that you need to do to get there.
Beautiful.
And then plan it, set the intention, journal, plan it, and make it happen.
Beautiful. So I think number one, I'd write down, what can I do for myself today out of that? Number two, how can I empower myself today? What am I going to educate myself on? So whether that be listen to a new podcast or read an article or however you think you can educate. And then number three, who am I going to surround myself with today? So there's some really great questions to ask yourself every morning. So basically, what you're going to do for yourself, what are you going to do to educate yourself today, and who are you going to surround yourself today? Love it. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. And so where can we find you? So I know a lot of listeners, they are female entrepreneurs in the health industry. So Chantal does run a Facebook marketing strategy business.
Yep, 100%.
Yep.
So,
let us know where we can find you.
Yeah, 100%. So, I have a do-it-yourself Facebook marketing and do-it-yourself Facebook advertising program. So, there's a lot of business owners who have no marketing budget and basically can't afford to pay somebody else to do their marketing for them. So instead I talk about investing in themselves, and it's the same thing. It's all about empowering yourselves. If you're struggling in Facebook, empower yourselves. Give yourself the skill to be able to do it successfully, to be able to market and generate new clients. So you can jump on my website, which is You're never going to spell this. No, Chantal Gerardy.
I've got it in the show notes.
So www.chantalgerardy.com.au, and all the details of my do-it-yourself program are on there. You can also book a call to have a chat with me just to find out more. And obviously jump onto Facebook as well and connect with me there on Chantal Gerardy, Facebook strategist.
Yeah. And as I said, we were chatting before the podcast. So she's stepped out last year of the fitness industry, but she still has a massive wealth of knowledge. So if you are one of the entrepreneurs that want to get in touch with the Facebook ads, she's a really good base if you want to also live that healthy lifestyle while running a business.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've worked with, actually, it's funny how like attracts like.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with the right people, and like attracts like. And I just seem to connect, and people just seem to come towards me that are involved in it. So I've helped many people in the health, wellness and fitness industry grow their businesses whilst working from home.
Yeah, love that. Ayurvedic number one is like attracts like.
I didn't even know that.
I know. I'm like, you need to investigate this. Like, you already have so much of that inside of you. I'm just like so surprised. It sounds like I'm talking to one of my Ayurvedic buddies. But yeah, thank you everybody so much for listening. And we hope you have a wonderful either day, morning, evening, night, whenever you're listening. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Soul Sisters, I would love to meet you in person and invite you to our I Am Worthy Day Retreat held on the Gold Coast. I believe that every woman should feel confident standing in their true abundant worth. And if this resonates with you in any way, it is a sign that you are being called to step forward and immerse yourself in your worthiness. No more hiding behind old belief patterns that hold you back from doing the things you love, from shining bright and confidently owning your worth. And one of the most amazing things about this is you're going to be connecting with like-minded soul sisters. You are going to be uncovering those core beliefs and really walking away with such a beautiful, radiant smile of worth as you leave. And another bonus is that the goodie bags are going to be filled with amazing local products. So not just flyers and all those kind of things you find in a lot of other goodie bags when you go to retreats, but actual products, including an I Am Worthy t-shirt designed by Vanessa Haldane, who is hosting the retreat with me. So if you have this desire to come along, to hang out with some soul sisters and stand in your worth, please buy your ticket today at my website. So that is www.harmonyinspiredhealth.com.au. It is held on the 16th of February 2020 on the Gold Coast. And for my listeners, I am going to give you a special $20 off code. So enter the word worthy and you will get $20 off your ticket price. I look forward to seeing you there. Soul sisters and misters, listen up, because I want to know if you resonate with this situation. You spend your days working hard and running a family. Despite this, you make an effort to prioritize eating well and doing your best to squeeze in some exercise most days. But you still suffer with fatigue, gut issues, skin breakouts, hormonal imbalance, and a cluttered mind. And you can't seem to shift the weight, even though you are eating well and you are exercising most days. You just don't understand why when it seems like you're doing everything right. I want to tell you that you don't need to second guess yourself all the time. We can work together to discover the why and the root cause of your symptoms. Come and see me in my Ayurveda and integrative health clinic, where I integrate Ayurveda, modern medicine, and functional medicine so that we can get to the root cause of all of your symptoms and really understand what is going on and why. If you would like to book in a consultation with myself, go to my website, www.harmonyinspiredhealth.com.au.